welcome everybody, and then just go through a few. Yes, that's right. This is going to be recorded, so we can put it back for replay later so that everybody who wasn't able to attend today would be able to attend. We're just so thrilled to have you. This is our record for us. We've had the most join us today than any have joined us in our monologues before, so we're really happy you're here. I wanted to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. The recording will be posted next week sometime. I can't give you the exact date that it will be recorded, or that it will be posted, but we will post in the group and we will email to everybody who's signed up for knit-alongs. So if you're wanting to go over the recording, there will be a YouTube link for you to be able to review the things that we learned today and actually, knit them if that's where you are in your project. So I think that will be really important. I'm going to post a couple things in the chat. One is I want to post Josie's link to her program that she has. She has a professional knitting coaching program, and I wanted to post the link to that so that if you have any problems or anything, you can. And there's her link there in the chat. You can go over to her website, click on Get Help, and the first question that you have is always answered for free. She's very generous with that. She's got a whole team of amazing, just wonderful professional people who know everything there is to know about knitting. If you're left-handed, she has a left-handed professional knitter that will be able to help. No matter what question you have, they will be able to get you over your little hump. The first question is free, and a monthly subscription is extremely reasonable and, in my opinion, very worth it.
A knitting Zoom.
So there's that link I want you all to have. The other thing I wanted to talk about was when you all get finished with your project, and we'll give you, a good 4 to 6 weeks to be finished with it. Post your finished product and project on either the Dizzy Knitter Facebook page or in the Dizzy Knitter group or on Instagram. Any of those places, use the hashtag, and again, I'll put that here in the chat, Hillsdale Hat Knit Along. So use that tag, and everyone who posts, I will DM them to get their address. And I want to make sure, I can't see myself now, so I want to make sure, can everybody see these? I'll send you a packet of Dizzy Knitter stitch markers. I really like these stitch markers. They're small and they don't get in your way. So once again, you're completed with your project. Post a picture of your project, hashtag Hillsdale Hat Knit Along, and I'll send you a set of stitch markers. So there's that. The recording. And I guess that's really it for now. There are a few other things that maybe we'll talk about at the end, but where's everybody from? We have people from the East Coast.
Hi, this is Cynthia. I'm from New Jersey.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi. My first time doing this, so I'm excited.
Ooh.
I'm Mary Beth. I'm from Manchester, New Hampshire.
Oh, wonderful. Are the trees turning back there yet?
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
It's warm though. I just finished the Bella baby blanket that I got from Dizzy Knitters, and I just love it.
Oh, I love that.
That is a cute pattern. If I may jump in. Oh, I know. I'm coveting that one too.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. What color did you knit yours in?
Nougat.
Nougat. Yeah, I really like that. I have some Yeah, that's on my list too. In fact, because I feel like it's more than just a baby blanket. I feel like I'd love to use it as a throw, you know,
Oh, yeah.
if
Yeah.
it ever gets cold again. Cross my fingers, someday it will. This week has just been brutal here in Southern California. And the reason it's been brutal isn't so much because the actual temperature is that hot. We live right here on the coast. Both Josie and I do live about a half an hour from each other on the coast. And it's not that the actual temperature has been that hot, but we're not used to that. So none of us have air conditioning. And I live in a townhome, kind of like a carriage house. And it's stucco and it's got the Spanish tile roof and it's just like an oven once it heats up. So I'm well done today and ready for some cooler weather.
I'm Donna from Arizona, and I've never done this before, and I don't know if my picture shows up when I talk.
It's showing up.
Am I showing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
I am from Peoria, Arizona, and I know all about the hot weather, but it has been hotter in Ventura than it has been in the Phoenix area.
You're kidding.
Wow.
Oh, no, you've been warmer there, and we have lots of air conditioning. We're equipped for it. So I really feel for you.
Yeah. I have to say, I don't know, Josie, I haven't talked to you a whole lot this week, except once or twice to just say, are you dying?
Yes, I mean, you know, we're in a 60s ranch house. We don't have AC either. And, you know, we're just, you know, 360 days of the year, we are totally fine. But boy, you know, I'm not complaining too badly. I don't even have a fan. I have my little handheld fan here. So ladies, show me a little grace today.
If we get shiny.
Yes, I was joking with Pamela earlier. It just feels like the never-ending, you know, what do you call it that we go through, ladies?
Menopause.
Yeah, you know, the never-ending hot flash. So, anywho, moving on.
Josie, take it away, girl.
All right, I'm loving seeing where everybody's from. Thank you so much for sharing that, everybody. Thank you for that introduction to Pamela. I'm Josie with KnitChats. I'm a knitting coach there, and we are just ramping up over there in our Slack community, which is the main place that we host all of our Q&A and all our members, and it's a pretty active group. I can tell everybody's getting excited for the fall. And so I'm excited to join with Pamela today to launch our first, you know, fall knit along. And it's a fun, mildly challenging, you know, quick-ish project for us to kind of get our needles going. Just one other administrative thing, in case you prefer our you can set down at the bottom, you can set up closed captions where we've enabled that. So if you'd like to see a transcript during this whole thing, you can go down to your, you know, hover on your screen somewhere. You should see the icons and you can click the CC icon for live transcript. Also, you may want to set your view to speaker view, which I think will give you the best view for when we do the, you know, when I'm showing my hands and doing some of the demonstrations for you. And I think with that, I guess we'll just launch right in. Okay, so I'm going to do my speaker as well. Okay. Oh, and ladies, you may want to, ladies, and I think we're all ladies here. I don't see any gentlemen. If you'd like to, if you don't mind putting, because we're such a large group, please go ahead and mute yourself. You're welcome to jump in anytime. And the quick way to do that is you just touch your screen, or if you're at your desk, if you touch your screen, or if you're at your desktop, you can hit the space bar and that will temporarily unmute you so that you can, speak to the group. Or
hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Fran. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I didn't know how to work it, so that was very helpful. So, hello, and
good.
I'm very excited.
Yay.
Does anybody else have
welcome.
any other?
I'm getting excited too. Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions about how to work things? Is everybody okay with seeing Josie? And okay, all right.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to the overhead. I think we'll go ahead and just do a quick review of the pattern. The way we're going to keep things pretty mellow and casual here. I'm going to be going over things as if you've never done, color work, stranded color work before. Some of you may have, and that's awesome. Maybe you'll pick up some tips here, and I hope all of us will share color work tips if you've already done some color work projects before. But our purpose here is to go ahead and kind of start from a beginner's perspective, because this is a great hat for beginners to color work. Okay, so I'm going to set up my overhead camera.
Right.
And normally I'm just pounding everybody about the importance of gauge. We're doing a hat, and so honestly, it's not that critical. I would go ahead and start with the suggested needle size. I always recommend that, especially for a hat. And if you find that the fabric is just a little too tight or a little too loose, then go ahead and make that adjustment. You'll know pretty quickly, I think, especially as you start with the ribbing.
Is the needle size a 6, you're saying?
Yes, so the needle size is a 6.
Okay.
Now, someone pointed out to me, and I completely agree, typically in a lot of hat patterns that start off with a ribbing, you usually start with a needle size down. Because ribbing tends to be kind of loosey-goosey, and you want to have a nice tidy ribbing, and usually you start with a needle size down from the main needle that you use for the body of the knitting, body of the hat. Here it's a size 6, and actually I followed the pattern exactly. I used a size 6. I know this navy could be a little tough to see, but it was fine. It was fine. I'm not going to obsess over that, but I think if I'm going to be a little more persnickety about it, I would have probably used the size 5. Is that better? Maybe here. Yeah.
Is it navy blue?
Yeah, this is a navy blue.
Pretty.
But
pretty.
It is pretty. And this ribbing is okay. It is a little looser than I probably would prefer. And so to do that, to fix that, you would go down a needle size. And then for the main body, I would go back to the, to the 6, let's say. So that's what I did.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
this pattern only offered one size. The finished measurement is 18¼ inches around, which is, that's an important measurement for a hat. The gauge for this 18¼ inch hat is 24 stitches and 29 rounds over 4 inches.
And it's really 18¾ That's how tiny.
Oh. Is it 3? Oh, thank you for correcting me. Okay, 18¾ Thank you. I better get my readers here. So, honestly, that's a smallish sized hat. It's really probably a small adult size or a child sized hat. So let's take a look at how you can adjust that sizing. And it's not too terribly difficult. But you know, so if you wanted to, you can make it larger or smaller. And for that, we're going to have to refer to the gauge, which, you know, it's so tiny here. Let's see here. So the gauge. Okay, so not so great. Okay, here. So 24 stitches over 4 inches. So if you divide 24 stitches by 4 inches, you get 6 stitches per inch. So the way I've sort of worked that out, if you want to make it larger or smaller, first, actually, let me refer to the chart. This chart is an 8-stitch repeat across, or, you know, this is what we'll be repeating 8 stitches over the course of each round. And because it's color work, you know, it's a little tricky breaking up the stitch repeat to adjust for size. So to keep things simple, if you wanted to adjust the size, we're going to always keep in mind this 8-stitch repeat, which we want to keep consistent to the design all the way around. So I've gone ahead and did the math a bit for you. And let's see, I will go ahead and put it into chat because, for example, the easiest thing to do would be to add or subtract the 8 stitches to your cast on. Okay. And the way I've worked that out is, so in the pattern, it tells you to cast on 112 stitches. Where is it? Here we go. 112 stitches for this 18 3/4 circumference hat. And that's something like 14 repeats around, which is fine. If we were to add 8 stitches to that, so casting on 120 stitches, you're going to get a 20-inch hat. If you were to add another 8 stitches, so 2 more repeats, you would get a 21 1/4 inch hat. Going the other way, if you subtract 8 stitches from this cast on, so you cast on 104 stitches, you will get a 17 1/4 inch hat. So that's suitable for like a child. And if you'll give me a second, I'll go ahead and write this down in the chat for you. And as well, when we do the recording, I'll go ahead and list all that in the description notes so that you have that for reference. So just give me 1 second. Okay, everybody, I just put that into chat. You can either jot that down for your own notes, right on the pattern if you have it, to help you make those adjustments. Each of these stitch counts are divisible by 8. So it's a nice, clean chart repeat for you. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I think that, just trying to get a better focus on it. Okay, everybody. Anyone have any questions so far on the sizing? You can either drop that into chat or feel free to jump in.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm Dana from Colorado.
Hi, Dana.
Hi. And 73 degrees here, lovely in the mountains.
Oh gosh, jealous.
But so the hat as is with 112 stitches cast on, did that fit you? Would it fit me, do you think? Or am I gonna, how do you know?
So why don't you,
Can't like try it on.
Of your head.
Huh?
We did this in another knit along, didn't we, Josie? We went and measured our head. And
Because it's 18 in circumference, but it stretches, so.
right.
So you want
Me, I've got a big head. I've always got to make things bigger. I just know that.
I might too.
My head is like 23 inches.
And how
So,
much
yes.
does it stretch if it's 18 inches? How?
See, that's going to be too small for me.
Right. Oh, look, I happen to see Gilda. So Gilda, did you do the pattern or did you increase or decrease stitches?
I didn't do anything. I just followed
Okay.
the instructions.
So it fits
Okay.
you. Yeah.
But Gilda is very petite as well. I'm 5'9".
No, I
And-
have a huge head.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay. Okay.
So my head is 21 inches around, maybe 21 and a half.
Okay.
Will it fit?
So
So it stretches a little?
Yeah, you don't want
does
it
stretch.
loose,
No.
Yeah.
No.
yes, because the pattern indicates the finished measurement. So that's an excellent point. And you do want a little bit of stretch to it for sure.
Right. So maybe I won't add on and see how it fits.
I'm sorry, what was that, Dana? What was your circumference head measurement?
21.
21, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Except it's almost 19, so I think she's good personally.
Yeah, because with that ribbing, it'll stretch a good 2 inches probably at least.
Yeah, it seems like the ribbing really stretches.
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe you can get through the ribbing. Go ahead and pop it onto your head. You'll get a good idea before you continue on with the rest of the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Anybody else? Okay. All right. So on to the chart. All right. So for those who are new to charts, this one is a very, very simple one. And so we'll take a look at this. It's very straightforward as far as charts go. Because we're knitting in the round, we start the bottom right corner and we read right to left. And then we move up each round. Here's round 2, right to left, and then we just keep reading, starting back on from right to left and then moving up. So as we mentioned, this is an 8-stitch repeat going across the rounds, and then the pattern repeat is a 10-round repeat. So to complete the full color work pattern, is 10 rounds. And the way I like to begin and go through my chart as I'm knitting is to either put a piece of this great highlighter tape, and I work by putting the tape above the row that I'm working. Either using that or, you know, a solid card, and I just keep moving it up each time I complete a round. I'm currently on round 3. And the reason I like to do that, I just lost my marker. The reason I like to do that is because I can see where I am in my knitting, roughly, right? The chart is just a visual representation of the written instructions. So I can just sort of check myself, read my knitting, and, you know, I get that visual. It's just easier for me versus keeping track going this way, right? Okay. Any questions on the chart? Okay. Well, if you think of any, just go ahead and pop them into chat. Oh, I just happened to see Barbara, you use Knit Companion. Okay, I wasn't going to bring things up like that, but now that you did, it's an excellent app. I don't use it myself, but knitters rave about it. Okay.
Excuse me, I'm Dottie.
Hi, Dottie.
Can you hear me? So on round 1, you knit 6, you knit 6, you knit 4 in the white color, and then add the blue color on that round 1. Is that what?
4.
Yeah, 4 of the blue color and then 4 of the gray color. Is that right?
Yes.
To get that
So,
check.
yes, that's exactly right. So when you start, and I'll move right into the different methods of, you know, the different techniques and how to fold your yarn and all that good stuff in just a second. But yes, so each square represents a stitch, and, you know, to help you keep track, you can, if you're using the white and blue, it's pretty obvious. You can, you know, use that to start. When you flip to your other colors, if you do your second hat and you use the white background with the navy as the contrast color, then it can be a little confusing. And what I'll do is I'll just have to remind myself and make a note here that the white will be the blue and the B color, the contrast color, will be the lighter color, the cream. So you'll get the hang of it as you go.
How do I know it's knitted there in those? Where does it say on the directions to knit all those 8 stitches?
Oh, okay. Thank you for that question. Yes, very good question. So the stitch pattern,
But it's to purl to.
Yeah, so the rib is separate from the color work chart.
Okay.
So yes, we will just, if we're following this pattern here, this is not so clear. Let's see if I can get a better focus on that. Yeah, so here we go. This is the stitch pattern to start. So it says here with A, which is your, you know, your main color. You'll cast on the 112 stitches or whatever stitch count you decide on. You'll join in the round, and then it says you'll work the knit 2, purl 2 rib for 7 rounds. you're not doing anything with the chart yet.
Right.
Then it says here, change to STST, which is shorthand for stockinette stitch. And you're right, you know, I'm not sure I see anywhere here where it says it should be up in here, honestly. STST equals stockinette stitch. So it is making an assumption that we know what that is. And stockinette stitch is basically knitting each stitch of each round.
So it's right above the stitch patterns.
Oh, is it up here? Let's see.
It's in the
the-
abbreviation.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for pointing that out. Oh, there we go. Yep. There's the explanation.
But I don't see where it says what the chart is.
Where it comes in. So this, yes, they've named this the chevron pattern. So if we continue here under the instructions. So we're going to work stockinette stitch, plain stockinette stitch for 2 inches. And then it says here, work rounds 1 to 10 of chevron pattern 2 times. So that's where you're going to begin, and it hasn't asked you to change colors yet. So you're still working with A. Oh, see, this is where we have to assume once they tell us to go over to the chart, that's where we, you know, follow the chart.
But they don't tell you what stitch to use on the chart. Like it could be knit purl or 2 knits, 2 purls. With the
Right.
They don't tell you that.
Yeah, I suppose not. I think most of the time with stranded knitting, it's going to be stockinette
Here's my-
stitch, unless it's otherwise noted.
Oh, okay.
So yes, good question.
Can I just say knit every stitch always?
Yes, in this pattern, yes, and in most
That's what
patterns,
it is.
yes.
In the round, you knit every stitch.
For stockinette
Except for
stitch, yes.
except for the bottom, you know, what do you call it?
The ribbing.
The rib pattern.
Yes.
And would it matter if you substituted the rib pattern for a knit 1 purl 1 instead of 2?
I think, no, I think in this case, I think that would work, because for knit 1, purl 1, all you need is an even number of stitches. So yes, you can absolutely change it to a knit 1, purl 1. Or you can do a fun, one of my favorite ribbed patterns for hats is the twisted rib. So,
Right.
right?
It's
Right.
black.
What's the twisted rib?
Knit through the back loop.
Yes,
What's the twisted rib?
it's knit 1 through the back loop, purl 1. And it just gives a nice little defined, it's a little more of a defined knit 1, purl 1 rib when you knit
so
through that back loop. Yeah.
You knit 1 in the back loop and then you purl 1?
Yes. Yeah.
Regular.
So you have to do it with just a knit 1, purl 1 versus knit 2, purl 2, right?
No, you can use you can knit 2 through the back loop and then purl 2.
Oh, you could. Okay. Interesting. You get
Yeah, it's just a little modification if you feel like
Pretty.
it. It's pretty. Thank you, Erica. Yeah. Eleanor, I see you have your hand up. What can we do for you?
So my question is that if you did do knit 1, purl 1, how would it affect the stretchiness of the band? Because I worked the opposite colors.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So personally, in my own knitting, knit 2, purl 2 is stretchier than knit 1, purl 1. But I mean, it's still elastic enough, and there are many hat patterns that do the knit one, purl one. It's completely your choice, your preference.
Okay, and what was the thing that someone mentioned that I had no idea what you were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was, but you said you weren't going to mention it, but I don't know.
Oh, Knit Companion app, which is wonderful. You guys should check it out. It's actually wonderful. Knit Companion, it's an app. You know, I don't know how you feel about adding yet another app, but there's a free portion of the app, and then if you want to, you know, there is a paid portion if you want to get into the more in-depth tools that the app offers. But it's definitely worth a try if you have an iPad or an iPhone. I'm not sure they have an Android version, but they probably do.
They do.
How do I get back to you? I see myself. I don't want to see myself.
Oh, hit speaker view. I think that should work.
Video filters.
In the
avatar.
top right-hand corner,
The top
it
right.
says view. It says view.
It's different. It's different with whatever device you're on.
Okay.
I'm on my iPad phone. Oh dear. I don't know how I lost it. Okay.
Erica, are you raising your hand too?
My name is Maren. And I just wanted to mention on the Knit Companion, I went on and I downloaded the free app, and it really didn't do much for me. And then I downloaded the paid app and I bought it, and it doesn't do anything for me either.
Oh.
It's very
Okay.
complicated to use. You use a counter or a pen and pencil and a piece of paper to write down how many rows you did, or count in your head. It's much easier, I feel. But of course you can, try it, but I'm disenchanted with it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yes, thank you for your feedback. Yeah, I actually am a pen and paper gal, honestly, myself. But people rave about Knit
Yeah.
Companion.
Some people swear by it, so everybody's different.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Maren. Okay. Anything else before we move on? Okay, everybody. So why don't we launch into the actual, different ways we can do stranded knitting. There are many, many ways. And I'll just cover sort of the main ones. The main, I guess, 3 of them. I did a little video, which I will share here, and we can talk through it. So bear with me. I'm going to get to that in just a second. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to play this little video, and then I'll pause. The first one is the one-handed method. And I am typically, I default to my right hand. I carry the working yarn in my right hand. And I would be considered a thrower or a flicker. So hopefully everybody can see this video. There's no sound. I'm just going to talk. And I'm starting right at the beginning of the chart here. And as a thrower, I'm basically just not doing anything much different other than, you know, adding my yarn. I'm doing the 4 stitches as per the chart in my contrast color. And then you drop that yarn and just pick up the next color and knit your 4 stitches. So this is for those who knit English style or are throwers.
This is Mary Beth. I assume it would be very important not to pull that first blue stitch, right? You don't want to pull the yarn behind it or you'll pucker.
Yes, you want to manage your tension. I'll have some tips later on how to manage that. But yes, you don't want to pull too tightly because then it'll just tighten up everything, and that's not good. There are some tips and tricks to managing that tension. But for now, I mean, you know, this is how one way you can do your color work with one hand. I have known very experienced knitters who've made the most beautiful Fair Isle. I'm going to pause this for a second here. Who've made the most beautiful color work pieces, and they just use their one hand. They just throw the yarn, alternating colors just in one hand, and that goes either for the right or left. I'm going to unshare and I'll see if I can demonstrate for you ladies the let's see if I can the left, you know, continental style, which is a little harder for me because it's not my natural way.
Okay, I got.
In terms of yarn management, you know, I like to just sort of keep the yarn balls separate. And okay, let me just get situated here and find myself where I am on the chart. I am on round 3. I should mention on a chart, as you are working your way up, I mean, this is such a simple repeat. You're basically doing 4 knit stitches per color all the way around. And as you move your way up through each succeeding round, you're just staggering that, you know, by 1 every time you go up. So in round 2, you'll be doing the 3 cream, 4 blue, and then a cream. But then after that first set, you'll just be, you're really just doing 4 and 4 and 4 all the way to the end. And again, it'll be just that staggered color.
You say that you read the chart left to right?
Right to left. So because we're knitting in the round, we always read the chart right to left.
Okay, so I was confused on that because I'm doing blue, just like it says, blue is A, but when that video started, it started with cream, it looked like, but in the pattern, A is blue. And A on the chart is blue then, right?
I had that same question.
Right.
So, oh, is that what A?
That's because the hat that you got in the kit can be made both ways. So Josie was just using a different kind. She was using the reverse.
The colors.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yes, I see what you're saying. Right. And the pattern, yes. I started with the blue
I started with blue too,
Yes.
right? So wouldn't I start with blue for the first 4 stitches in the chart then?
Yes, you are absolutely right. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and you're right. I flipped it around. So what I'm doing, oh, you caught me on that, and I just realized it this minute.
But remember, when you go to knit it reverse with your other, because you'll use most of the dark blue and you'll have just a little cream. So you'll have most of the cream. And so it will be just reversed when you knit it the second time.
Yes.
When you make the second hat.
Yeah, when you make the second hat, exactly. When you make the second hat, you will knit cream for those first 4 and then navy for the second 4.
Otherwise, you'll run out of yarn.
Exactly.
Right. And, but you know what? Good catch.
I have a
because
question.
Actually,
Mine
yeah,
is gray, not cream. Mine's gray, not cream. But
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm calling it cream. I don't know. Somebody said cream at some point and I got that stuck in my head. Yeah, you're right. You've got the right color.
Kim, thank you for that catch. Yes, I flipped it around. And in fact, yeah, for the chart, I reverted to the opposite colors. So thank you for noting that. And
So if
I
the
guess-
hat is blue, the first 4 stitches would be blue.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I was confused there too. So
Yeah.
Josie, when you knit in the round, do you follow the same chart?
Yes.
The difference between, if I could just hop in here 1 second, because I think people have been told to knit a chart right to left and then left to right. Yeah, and so the confusion is the difference is when you knit in the round, you always knit right to left, right? If you're right-handed, you always knit right to left, right to left, right to left, because you're never switching directions. You're always coming from the same direction.
So the
Right.
second row would be left
right
to
to left. No. When you're knitting in the round,
Okay.
you always knit right to left.
And so the second row will be right to left also.
Yeah, it's always right to left. The whole thing is right to left, but you're correct. If you're knitting flat, then you would come back and go left to
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Right, exactly. Thank you. Okay, so let me find my bearings here. So, all right, here we go.
And also because it's only a 4 stitch pattern, you don't need to, you just have to carry the yarn. You don't need to catch it.
Yes, thank you,
Right,
Gilda. Good
Josie?
point. So, right, so because this is only 4 stitches, I personally don't think you need to catch the floats.
Right.
No, if you go into 5 stitches or more, that's when you want to think about catching your floats, because then the strands across the back get a little too long,
Right.
and you don't want to get, things caught in there. In which case you'd want to what they call catch the floats. So I won't address that here since it doesn't apply, and we're keeping things pretty basic. Oh, hi, Lisa. Yeah, showing a catch. I will look for a video. I actually have a great video I'm going to drop for you at the end that discusses stranded knitting. It is one of the best videos I've seen that discuss stranded knitting overall, and it goes into a little more advanced things like catching the floats, and also discussing things like color dominance, which is a big issue in stranded knitting, and it could be, there have been very healthy discussions on that issue, which we won't go into here, but again, I will drop that link to you towards the end. It's an excellent discussion by Diana Walla, who's a wonderful colorwork designer. So, okay, so I was going to try and demonstrate the left-handed one hand knitting left-handed, or for continental knitters, because there's just different ways you can you can do it. I just wanted to get my bearings here because I'm on round 3. I'm ending round 2. So my marker popped off and I just want to get back to it. Let's see, so we're doing that. Okay. So now I am on going to round 4. Is that right? Yep. Okay. So I have my yarn. I always just sort of set them apart from one another. This is where, like that. And I'm going to demonstrate. Oh, let's see if we can do it here. I don't know how many of you are continental knitters, but you can basically just do the one-handed knitting here simply by just grabbing both yarns and then picking the color that you need to knit. So let's see, this is, so I'm going to knit with the cream and then switch to the blue. So I'm going to just pick out the blue. And then back to the cream.
Yours would be gray for everyone else.
Or gray.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you would keep going. I should mention that I've seen a product out on the market where there's a little ring that you could wear on your index finger. Have you guys seen that? And it has these two like what do you call them? Tension little loops. Then you
just
can
a little
feed,
catch for them.
Yeah, you can feed your.
Can I show it? I have a Norwegian
sure.
thimble. And it goes on your index finger. If you're a continental knitter like I am, you put it on your index finger and you put your yarn through the loop here and your other color through the loop there. And then you can, it just stays apart and you can and it also controls your tension. And I find it really, really handy when you're knitting stranded knitting or
Maren, I'm going to highlight you for the group and so that because I see that you're wearing it. So let me.
Yes. What's it called?
A Norwegian knitting thimble.
Norwegian knitting thimble.
Correct. You can get it on Amazon or they have it. You can just get it anywhere. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to try to show because I got. Okay.
I've pinned Maren here. Can you see her? Or okay.
I see you. I see you.
Oh.
I don't see her.
Go to the gallery view.
Yeah, I've pinned her to our screen, so I'm not sure why you can't see her.
There now I see her, but not very well.
If we spotlight her, Josie, will that work?
Yeah. Oh, right. Let me you're right. Let me try spotlight.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so you have your thimble on your hand like so. The thimble itself has a bigger round opening on the bottom and a smaller opening on the top. So you put the bigger opening towards the fatter part of your finger. And then you have a loop on the top here and a loop on this side here. And you just put your yarn through, you thread it through, and then you can knit with either yarn. And
Yeah,
it keeps
that's
your
nice.
it keeps your tension quite well. I'm just knitting, you know, I'm not doing any kind of, but you can do, let's say 4 blue. And
That's
then
great.
or blue, and then you can do 3 gray, whatever the pattern calls for. Okay. I'm not good at demonstrating, but this is, and I find that it really is easy to do because it keeps your yarn untangled and your tension is even.
Yes, it keeps
Beautiful.
the yarn separated so you can easily grab the color that you
Right.
need. Thank
Right.
you. Thank you, Marion. Appreciate
Okay.
you showing that. Thank you.
It's just for continental knitters, I think. I don't know. I don't know how to do the way you do, you know, what you call English or throwing. I don't know how to do that. So, but I think it's just for continental knitters.
Yes, yes. No, thank you. That's perfect. I know that's grown
Okay.
popular for the colorwork knitters out there for sure. So thank you. Okay, so that is the one-handed method, either the right or the left hand. My favorite though is the two-handed method, and I'm going to share that briefly.
I have a question going back to the very beginning.
Sure.
When you first start with the opposite color, do you make a slip knot and get going, or do you just wrap it around?
Oh, I just
You just
add it as if you're adding a new color to, you know, or a
you
new
just take
strand
it
of yarn. Just go ahead and
And how much do you leave? Do you leave a tail?
So here's my tail. I just leave it and it'll just be woven in later.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think too much about how I add yarn. You just add it, and then at the end, I just weave it in.
You kind of have to hang on to both ends of the yarn, both for that first stitch, or else everything keeps sliding. When you flip it over your needle, you just kind of have to hang on to both so that the tail doesn't go.
How to get going on it? Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still having problems?
No, I haven't done it yet. I just was like, how do I do it?
Yeah. Just loop it over. Can you show again, Josie, just with another piece of yarn?
Okay, I just did it. I think I can do that.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah, I made it work. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm gonna go, let's see, we're gonna share again. And this is the two-handed demonstration. We'll get past this. Okay, so this is pretty much my preferred method, because for me it is a little more quick. I can breeze through my color work a little more quickly this way. And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know how to, if you're an English thrower and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do this in my left hand, you'd be surprised how if you try, you can go ahead and make it work, and how coordinated it actually, you know, it is. And you don't worry about, you know, you just have to be consistent. If you're going to hold, you know, one color in one hand, the other color in the other, don't switch. just stay consistent throughout by holding, continuing to hold that color in that hand. So that's the quick demonstration on the two-handed knitting. Would anybody like me to sort of show how the tensioning goes? I can do it a little more slowly.
I would.
Okay, let's do it.
I tried.
You tried?
I thought I did.
I'm sorry?
The left hand using that, holding the yarn is like continental knitting, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Right.
And
So
I would definitely, like with anything, you'll want to practice. And if you want to practice before you launch into this project, go ahead and get 2, balls of scrap yarn of the same weight and just alternate one color, like do a one blue, one gray, or one blue, one gray, just alternate back and forth, trying, practicing with both hands. And you, I think, might be surprised how that you will pick that up quite easily. So the way I do it is normally, I tension the yarn by wrapping around my pinky and then lifting it up this way in my right hand. In my left hand, I kind of do the same, wrap around my pinky for tension and then use my index finger to help guide the yarn.
Well, that helps me.
Does that help you? Okay, good. I mean, I don't know. So I know that there are continental knitters that hold the yarn very close to the needle, or their fingers very close to the needle. And I would love to be able to do it that way. It's a very efficient way of knitting. But my index finger wants to pop up like this. And that's just how I do it. And then I take my middle finger on my left hand and just sort of use that as the guide.
Yes, okay.
Like this, and pick.
Right.
I will say, this is Mary Beth, I will say that the first time you try this, if you're just an English knitter or a thrower, it is the weirdest feeling, and you feel like you're all thumbs, and you're like, what is wrong with your dexterity is gone. You have like, how is my hand supposed to work? And it just takes and I was like, I'm never going to get this. And I just took my time and started just with knit stitches, just so I could get used to the hand motion and holding my yarn in the left hand. And then I turned to the purl, which was really difficult for me, but I eventually got it.
Yeah.
Well, and the advantage of this is the 2 balls of yarn aren't winding around each other anymore.
Yes. I've got them in separate places. Although even when you do the one-handed knitting, it really, honestly, it does not tangle up too much. I don't think I've ever experienced that myself. But yeah, so I would urge you to give this a try, but any of the other methods are perfectly fine.
Josie, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
This is Jean Cacuso. I know when I've done color work, you have to have the main color strand over or under the other one. Does this apply in this method? Does it matter which main color is over or under the contrasting color? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know. And, I personally, I don't think it matters. This is where, a lot of discussion can happen because it affects what they call color dominance. And I don't think we have time to really get into that here. And to be very, very honest, I don't like to overthink things. I just know that you pick a color and you just use that color in that hand consistently throughout and stick with it. As far as the strand, once you do that, so when as I knit two-stranded knitting with two-handed stranded knitting, it just naturally, I just let the strands go as they naturally would. So, let's take a look. So the blue for me just goes over the cream. So let me.
Can you explain why it makes a difference? Why, I mean, why it would look any different, Josie?
So we do go into color dominance. It can affect, so like, okay, and so then I start the cream and it just will always naturally fall that way. For example, when I do my two-handed knitting, and the strands will always go that way. If you start switching it up, some of these colors will begin to recede, and others will stay prominent, and it could give your color work knitting a very strange effect. And so, for example, if you switched it up in the way the yarns lay across the back, the strands as they travel across the back, some of these white stitches could appear receded.
But yours look great, personally.
Yes,
I think.
and that's because I'm just staying very consistently,
Would you think, just, I know you don't want to get into it, and that's fine. We're going to run out of time here anyway, but would you say that if you were knitting the gray hat with the dark blue arrows, that you would throw the gray over so that it was the more dominant one, since your whole hat is that color? Would that be okay to do?
I'm sorry, Pamela, say that again.
Well, when you knit the reverse hat, I mean, everyone has enough yarn who purchased the kit has enough yarn to knit both hats. So if they knit the hat that's reversed, that's the light gray all over with the dark blue darted chevrons, then you would hold your gray in your right hand and your blue in your left, I'm asking.
So the gray would be the main color?
Yeah, the gray is the gray hat with just the dark blue chevrons.
Right, I'd have to test that. So in my mind, a long time ago, I decided that the main color, whenever I knitted a colorwork project, the main color would be in my left hand and the contrast in my right. And it's never steered me wrong.
But that's not what you're doing here, right?
So, yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And again, it doesn't seem to make a difference here.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's, because this is such a simple, color work project where you're not getting into some of the more intricate, designs of like Fair Isle motifs and just some of the other finer sort of designs. And I finer by I mean that in a way where it's just, just a lot more intricate designs, then it may make a difference.
Yes, Erica, you have your hand up.
It's it's Erica's iPad, but my name is Marin.
Oh, anyway, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's confusing. For some reason, my daughter programmed this thing for me, and it came out as Erica's iPad. Her name is Erica, and it's been like that for a few years, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, I don't think there is a dominant color in this pattern, because it's equal, it's the same. When you do with the dominant color, you would maybe have 1 or 2 stitches of one color, and then maybe 5 or 6 stitches of the dominant color.
Yes.
And then again, you would have a couple of stitches of a secondary color, and then again, more stitches in the dominant color. And then you would want your dominant color to stand out more than your secondary color. But in this case, I would say that this is 4 stitches, 4 stitches, 4 stitches all the way around. It's just offset by 1 stitch on every round. And it's so even, it's equal.
Yes.
There really is no dominant color after you finish the bottom of the hat.
Yes, thank you, Maren. I think that explains it nicely, you know, gives you a sense of the color dominance issue. It just doesn't matter as much in this hat because of these are bigger sort of chunks of color. Someone
Eleanor had her hand up. Eleanor, do you still have a question? Okay.
Okay, so let's move on to just real quickly as we near the end here, tips on how to manage your tension, and they're real quick tips. If you can imagine, you know, the color work part really can it can be just an entirely different tension for everyone altogether. If you were to have seen more of this color work part knitted up, it's not unusual for the color work section to come in a little bit, right? Because it's just a different tension than if you were knitting plain stockinette, because you've got the 2 color thing going on. And so a lot of times that color work section tends to come in. The way to mitigate some of that pulling in is many knitters will just go up a needle size for the color work part. So you could go up to a US 7, and that way it'll be a little more even. The other way that you can manage that tension as you're doing your color work, it's really a simple sort of thing, and that is you will spread your stitches out here before you continue with the next color. So for example, let's just keep going here. So I've got, where am I? So I've got that. Okay, the cream. Okay, let me just keep going. I'll finish that. So you're knitting, 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 and we're going to do the color change here. I'm always I do this thing where I spread out the stitches and then go into my next color and keep those stitches spread out, and then do that first stitch in your new color. If you were to not do that, it would, you know, result in a tighter tension. So for example, you don't want to do this. So, you know, where all your stitches are tight that way, and then you go into your next color, because then that strand across the back is shortened. Does that make sense? So it just helps to, straighten up, spread out those stitches in the previous color before you do the change. Also, if you're one of those knitters that tends to want to tighten up, you know, that last stitch you did, try not to do that, because that just contributes to the tightness. Just let it go and, you know, keep those stitches spread out and carry on. And I've never had an issue when I did that. Let's see. Okay, that's kind of it. That's what I have for you, everybody. If anyone wants to share any more tips for managing your tension, please jump in. I'm looking at chat.
The
Oh,
other thing
yes.
that you can do is just make sure at the end of the row, just loosen, make sure it's not taut, just to every so many stitches,
Right. Yes. Good point.
And one thing that someone taught me when I did mittens is to turn it inside out, and you can knit it that way too.
Oh, excellent, excellent tip. Thank you. Who is that recommended that?
Oh, Eleanor, I live on Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Eleanor, yes, thank you. You know what? That is an excellent tip. I had a designer friend tell me that exact same thing. So what Eleanor means is normally, we knit in the round with the right side facing out. If you really have trouble with your tension for color work knitting, go ahead and knit it this way with the wrong side out. And basically your knitting, the right side will be, this way. Knit this, see, my yarn's coming from this, it should come from this way, and you could knit everything this way. Yeah. Is that what you mean, Eleanor?
Yep. And I just knitted it that way, but I didn't torture myself with the navy first today.
Okay. Great.
Okay, I'm a little confused.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm a little confused as to exactly what you mean by that, Josie.
So you would knit, I know, I've never tried it myself because I've never had that issue, but Eleanor, did you say you started yours this way? Should we look?
No, I didn't. I've knitted mittens that way because you know how when you're on a mittens, either on double pointed or magic loop, it was easier to keep the tension if you did it inside out.
Yes.
So that means you're purling everything. Is that?
No, you're still knitting. Look, I turned mine inside out. This is my carry side. So you still.
Let's find you, Eleanor.
I gotta find you.
I'm going to find you in the gallery, and we're going to highlight you just so you can. Oh, there you are.
So I have mine inside out right now. So you can see my tension, but you can turn it inside out and you still knit the same way. You still do a knit and not a purl. Can you see?
There you go. Yes. So what you're doing is you're knitting. So normally our knitting's oriented this way, right? Where the needles are in front.
Yeah.
But with Eleanor's way, what you're doing is you're knitting, and this is how I started knitting in the round. Honestly, I was knitting like this.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? So
if you find your tensions taut.
So you're still knitting, you're still knitting.
You're still knitting.
Right. This way, yes. But you're
and I'm the
knitting inside.
I'm the one that does both on both and just very close. So it's pretty efficient.
I love seeing how everyone knits this. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're very fast. Yeah.
Well, I learned a little while ago, and I decided to make my dominant color the blue on the top on my inside of my knitting. Let's see. Here we are.
Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's the tension is nice. It seems lofty and fluffy, or however, it's not all tight and pinched.
No, and here's so my grandmother, when she taught me how to knit, she made me turn it inside out first and then right side.
Yes.
That's cute.
So she was very strict. But I'm not an expert knitter. I just keep learning.
Oh, we all do. That's
so many things that have changed in the way we knit since we've learned, right? And we find what works well for us. So
learning.
Oh,
we all do. That's
so many things that have changed in the way we knit since we've learned, right? And we find what works well for us. So with the color work, I mean, I'm still evolving, and anyway, thought that would hopefully that helps some of you if you launch into your own projects. I'm going to, before I forget, I am going to drop this video from YouTube in the chat. Her handle is Paper Tiger, and the designer is Diana Walla, and she has a wonderful, let's see, she has a wonderful beginner pattern too, that's very similar, that's free. Okay, let's see, let me find my way. Here we go. This is the YouTube. Yeah, it's like a 30-minute video, and it is probably the most excellent discussion on stranded knitting overall that I've seen. She's very clear, concise, and handles that color dominance discussion well. For those of you who really want to get a better handle on it. I personally don't overthink it that way. You know, if I don't like the way it's coming out, I just take it out and switch it up and do it again. Okay, everybody, are there any last comments or questions? You know, if you come up with other questions later, just shoot me an email. I'll go ahead and pop my email address here. And if you're not already with KnitChats, please do join us. We do have a free community, and we love to share all the things on your needles. And then, as Pamela mentioned earlier, I do have the paid unlimited helpline for those who have some, you know, projects that you need extra support with. We have an excellent team of coaches, most of which are certified instructors. Pamela, is there anything else that we need to cover?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was unmuted. They're collecting trash today, and so I keep muting myself to save everybody from the noise. They're a day off from the holiday we had. Just use the, if anybody wasn't here when we started, Hillsdale Hat, knit along, hashtag, post your finished product. I'll DM you to get your address, and I'll send you a packet of 12 stitch markers. What else was there? You can ask questions. Josie's in the Facebook group also, on Facebook, the Dizzy Knitter Facebook group. If you haven't joined that yet, you can join, pop in, ask questions there. Josie's there as well. Join her Slack group and her community of knitters, and I think that's all I can think of for right now. Oh, I know, the last thing I wanted to say was, if does anybody, let me put this on gallery so I can see everybody again. Does anybody want to meet again next Saturday as their project is farther along, and just have a little knitting time together? Not so much instructional thing, but just to knit together?
Sure,
Oh,
I
that
would.
be fun.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll pop that in the well, in fact, let me put together a link right quickly.
That would be fun. Pamela, do you want me to do it?
If you want to, but I didn't know your schedule. We hadn't talked about this beforehand. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what my schedule is next Saturday. I want to say yes, I'm available.
I tell you what, I'll do it. I'll do the link,
Okay,
so that way.
Oh, I hope I can join. That would be fun. I'd love to see everybody's work in progress too, or you might be done by then. I mean, this is kind of a quick project. There's only 2, you know, repeats of this pattern. So, I don't know, we didn't address the size of the hat. It's kind of a slouchy hat, and I don't know, the decreasing looks fairly straightforward. And anyway, it would be fun to kind of see your hats. Yeah, Pamela, do we have any colors from Blue
Yeah,
Sky?
I answered her. I don't have any other colors yet, but maybe next week we can talk about some different.
Yeah, do you have anything in stock that you might put together just from your own, you know, inventory that might be fun? Just need a worsted.
You know, I
weight.
just adore, I do have worsted, but I just adore this yarn and I want to go ahead and put it together. So I'll get some more. They supply it very quickly. So maybe next week we can talk just a little bit about what colors people like so that I can know what people are liking to stock. Let me see. I want to make sure I get this all thing. Okay. Here.
Barbara, you're muted.
Who's muted?
Barbara.
I was. Are you going to record the next one next week?
Sure. I can do
Because
that.
I'm going to be on the road to the East Coast next week. So.
Oh, hi, Barbara.
Yes, and I'm in Kansas, people.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was 91. Today it's 61. So it's Kansas weather.
Wow. Crazy. Well, I recognize your voice. I can't see your face, but I recognize your voice. Okay, so there's the link
I don't
for
know
next.
when I unmuted it.
There's the link for next week if you all want to just give that a copy. I will post it also in the group this week. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, just hop on over there and ask, you know, to join and I'll admit you to the group. And I'll post it in there as well. So, oh gosh, so great seeing everybody. Thank you so much for all of your tips that you gave us. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
fun.
much. This is
Great to see
great.
you all.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Stay cool. Bye. Until
Bye.
next time.